Hello everybody. Bark is my name. I would like to make some presentation about Africa and its innovation. We'll start with our main subjects, Africa and its innovations. I'll go forward. My name is Mbarku, as I said, and I'm about to explain what it's all about, Africa and its innovations. I started with agenda. That would be introduction. I will introduce shortly, and then talk about Africa and its innovation itself as a part of this presentation. And I will explain more about African business communities that we are going to create a great community to be deal with a different kind of business. And I will also talk about this African descendants and how great leaders we had in time and the period ago, for quite a bit of time. And I will discuss about science and technology in Africa. That is our main concern for our development within our community and societies. Human rights and justice, because that is the foundations of being a human, is to know your rights and your identity. I will come to the conclusion. I will conclude what I've been talking about, and the last will be questions that brothers and those sisters will have to ask. I will give you the answers. We come to the main point, introduction. It is all about, on half of Africans and African diasporas, I would like to tell about this presentation is actually intended to promote and discuss certain issues concerning our communities in general, such as be creative, be innovative. That is a main point for us, for our survival, because the world needs people like us as inventors, innovators, and business facilitators. And we are going to promote our business in the best interest, because we need all of us to deal with what we have in order to create our African and Pan-African identity strong. We need a good business proposal, and we have to improve our way of living. There is one thing that is most important before anything in the world. Those things are basically knowledge. And knowledge is a foundation for us to have what we achieve today. We have satellites, we have cameras, we have everything because of the knowledge. And that could be science and technology. And science actually has a lot of branches, the same as technology. Some science studies are astronomy, chemistry, geophysics, and others. There is a lot of, and the technique, it's electronic, mechanic, mechatronic, and so forth. There's a great branches of science and technology you can find in our schools, universities, and so forth. And I want to tell the most important things too, is to preserve our respect as a human being. We cannot just say that we are here to learn without respect. We need to respect ourselves in order to have a strong faith on ourselves with the help of Pan-Africa. We need effort to build a relationship. That is a call for creating a good and working society. Without a good relationship, so we have a chaos. That's everyone knows about it. So, Africa and its innovation. this is a very crucial thing that I love to talk about Africa. I love to talk about innovation, technique, and so forth. I am technician. Yeah, there is a great number. There is a great issue that we need to talk about. We need to discuss about African and how we are going to move on. Moving on is not just wearing a good clothes and so forth. Moving on how we can prepare to be a better people and being a better community in the world. So this is among other things that I want to talk about. First, let me say that we need to learn how to use the word resources. That means we need to be able to build different kind of and innovate, create different kind of object, items, products, and that is very important. We should remember that if we don't use our resources, we have iron, we have diamonds, we have different kind of materials, and we are just selling. Why don't we make things by our own? We need to think about it in order for us to reach to the level of our ancestors have been doing. I will explain more forward. Yeah. So we need to produce and manufacture our own products, because it is all about being a good business people. And if you make a product, you need to sell it. And it is all about making a better future for an African, not just depending on buying things from others while we have our materials on ourselves. Yeah, we need to engage in diverse scientific and technology researches. We need to have a people that can learn and doing some researches, writing books, motivate others, with African diasporas, in order for us to build strong and solid and a solid foundation of being an African and African diaspora around the world. That is the most important for you and I, to deal with. Yeah, we need to build a science park, because the researchers need to have a place for them to doing their researches and implement the knowledge in reality. Yeah, as we know that the knowledge is just there for you and I to sit down and try to do some researches and write down, that will create a knowledge, and then we can spread to the brothers and sisters for them to learn how things are going to work. Yeah, we have to encourage our African societies, because there's one thing that I found out. Most of us Africans, I come from Tanzania. I'm proud as a Tanzanian, as East African, as an African general and Pan-Africa. Because of that, I found myself dealing with the knowledge and studying, but brothers and sisters, some of us are not willing to learn. So we have to find a way to encourage and promote that education system for everybody to be able to learn and be having access to get education. Because without education, we have no good foundation. So we need to be educated. And it's been taught through all kind of religion, all religions in the world. In Islam, talk about educate yourself. In Christian, talking about you need to learn. And other religion, Buddhism, and it's all about knowledge. So without knowledge, it's like a tree without roots. Yeah, and we have to also to improve our living standard. Through the education, we will be able to make a better life for everybody. We have to look for some example in Africa now. The tragedies happening in those countries with the war and feminine. Many people are starving. Why don't we try to help them in order to release, to make some relief in their lives, because they are with us and we are with them, because we are all Africans. Yeah, and we should keep in mind, for us, in order to be a good in everything, we need to invest in a wisest way. I don't want to talk about invest in the music. Yeah, we have to invest, because in music also we rejoice our souls. But we need also to deal with the science, build some premises, own the businesses, you know. Yeah, something like that. This is very important. We should not be good in dancing. We should be also good in education. We should learn. We should build things. We should, yeah, promote those projects which are very useful for our communities. Yeah, I continue to talk about African its innovation. There's some good examples that I really admire what our ancestors did, and this is a very living example. Now we have the pyramids. Yeah, so look at this pyramid represent many things for the African. If we go back to the history, Africans were able to create art. They were good in art. They were good in astronomy. They were good in science. And look, the technology that made this. You can find yourself. There must be mathematics. And we were good at it. We must make a lot of things. I will explain a little bit some of those foundations of technical we had mastered. What be able to build such a huge thing that now exists in Egypt, we had a great job in technology. We created some building and construction machines. That how could we build this giant building without cranes? So we had that knowledge before European did. And this knowledge even existed. Of course, we say that there is a new modern technology without crane, but they are just modification of an old of Africans' inventions. We had hammers and the nails. We could build very wonderful buildings, and they are there until now in Africa. And the people are going as a tourist just to visit those buildings, and we should be proud of it. We made the chisels, and we carved. We could carve the giant stone to a figure that nobody could be imagined. I mean, this is a wonderful thing.
What's the chisel?
Chisels, in Swedish, do you know chisels? Stone. It's something that to carve the stones. You use, I forgot in Swedish. Yeah, chisels.
Okay.
Yeah, for wood. I mean, you carve the stones, you know. Yeah. And we had knives, swords. Those are foundations for how to survive those old time. You know, we had an axes, wheels. You know, because the pharaoh was having a special carts to move those things, and those others, you know, kings or who lived in Africa, they used wheels, they're like cattle to move on. We had invented the ancient calculation that are able to count. That was the foundation for what we have now, the calculator, you know. So we had a special one, but was not electronic, but that one was, you know, a source for how people could, you know, be able to manufacture those calculators we have today. And there is a wonderful thing that mummified body needs some kind of chemicals, and Africans did that before Europeans, whatever it is. So we could manufacture and use diverse chemical compounds, stearin, light. We could also use oil. We knew how to dig to make to pump up oil. So this thing that we African could long ago, before our history had been destroyed and inventions and being colonized. Yeah. So there is one good example that we have a lady called Tebelo Nikon. She's a South African lady with the highest ambitions in technology, especially science. Yeah, we have here with her experiments, and actually when I saw this, when I read about her, I was so impressed to see such a wonderful thing that she did for the African. Yeah, she's from South Africa, and she won the prize, the African Arab State 2009. It's called Lauren UNESCO. Yeah,
UNESCO.
UNESCO. I'm sorry that my pronunciation. Yeah, and this is a woman that we actually admire because she came up with an idea to cure cancer using dyes. You know, they put a special dyes, a chemical, is the photodynamic we say what they call it again, therapies. You know, that goes inside the vein or under the skin to locate just only what we call the cancer cells and kill them. That means this is wonderful thing she did for the African. And these phototherapies, photodynamic therapy, it's very useful for the African environment because we have a very warm climate. Yeah, so other scientists around the world, they did a similar but into different way. But she could find a way that suited for the Africans, and this is a very good for us. I go to another party that we have in Congo. We have a guy called Sege Kabengele. I'm sorry for my pronunciation because Swahili in Tanzania and in Congo, Republic of Congo, have a different dialect. Maybe I sound very different, but I hope Mr. Kitimbo will say the name.
Sawa.
Sawa, thank you.
Sari Kabengele.
Sari Kabengele, yeah. And we have here an engineer, a mechanical engineer, exactly what I've been studying. Yeah. So he tried it, or he made, because he was doing thesis, to finish university. He created something for the last exam works. He tried it, or made it, or something for the train, for the rail to transport or to make a moving things by the head, electrical head, that the rail stations could moving, and it goes so fast that African could be benefit from his technology because he wanted to make things going good in logistical way that he did. And he built just miniature electrical train ahead, yeah, for the final exam. And his project aimed for us in what they call in Congo, or now we call the Republican Congo. Yeah. Yeah. So that is most important thing to remember, that we Africans can do for ourselves, can do things for ourselves, not just waiting to buy a train from China while original material from maybe Congo or Tanzania, and then shift it to China or Europe or something and be built and send it back. So we pay double, and materials are being used for nothing. And the final about these inventions, I tried to modify or create something unique to power, because the power is the most wonderful thing, and it is a tool for you and I to use. And what I try to do is to find a way to create electricity through the water, which is already being used. Is a hydrophone, but my modification is I'm going to show here. This one, I just made at home. You know, I said, wow, let me sit down and figure it out. Okay, if the propeller, what they call it, if I find out the propeller, it is inside here actually, and I took some insulated wires and around it, and I put water, and I wanted that water could be forceful in order to pull, in order to what they call I'm sorry my English, pump on propeller that or turbine could move. So I just pump it and let the force to come in, but the force was very weak, so thing could not work as I wanted. But I said, let me think, if I boil this water and get this what they call vapor, that could be very strong. And I did some researches and I found like it is going to work. So I would like to promote or to contribute idea that if we as Pan-African could try to figure out things could work for the African community, to do just a simple thing to help for us to have a light and do other things, that you are welcome. From my idea point of view, you can work out your own and maybe look for a patent or whatever it is. I didn't patent it, just only wanted to do something for my own, at least like brother and sister, and our mothers and fathers in Africa could be benefited. Just a simple thing, not to buying petrol or whatever it is. Yeah, the fire we can make, in order to boil, it's not to boiling on the plastic, otherwise it will be smelted, but to find some kind of container, and we have these garbage things like cows in Africa, we put it in special way, we make methane gas. So then could be used, methane gas could be used to burn, to boil the water, and we get a vacuum, and we have electricity's wiring, and we have it will spread, it will supply to maybe to cook, or maybe for the lighting and so forth. Very simple idea. And the other one, this actually I tried it to patent in the United States, but again my economy was not very strong, so I had to abandon the idea and decided just to be an idea giver. Someone else can do it, but not in this way. Yeah, the idea was here the seawater. These things are in the sea. This is a little bit up the turbine. It's on the top. It's the same similar process like this. So I made thought that if we had a power source, a bigger power source, maybe solar panel or wind panel a little bit, that rotates in the sea and cause the water, cause some kind of, there inside some kind of pump machine that are pumping up the water and pushing on it, and this turbine in its turn runs or rotate and creating much powerful electricity that's created to the community. There is some electrical connections to the country, whereby to the land where people will be benefit with a small source of knowledge from this to the highest. And another thing that I made, an idea that this is the same principle, but I made it as a funnel that the seawater goes straight by itself with a certain height, and then rotate this with very confined, and there's a pipes all the way to the offshore, then when the water goes in, rotate this and create electricity and goes back to the sea, because there's a pipe goes to the land offshore, and then the water which passes through the pipe goes back to the sea. So we have a rotating generator. Yeah, that somebody could be benefit with. Yeah. Yeah. So, and we know that when we acquire the knowledge, we can make a good business. It's all about making a good life for you and I, brothers and sisters. I'm sorry, brothers, there's no sisters. No one. Yeah. So we need to create a very working community. The community that will be beneficial and based on mutual understanding in the business. So we need to create a functioning business people. We need people that can really deal and own businesses. And this can be done with the effort of knowledge, creating some ideas, products that could be sold and making money. But I'm not here to talk about the money. I'm here to talk about how can we create a society where Africans will just be benefit for their own ideas. And this is all about I'm here for. So we need to own our different premises. We could maybe rather own arch, houses, and other companies that could contribute for the African welfare and by yourself in general. We have to possess a large number of factories, because Africa needs us, need you and I, to go there and build, not just waiting for someone to come and build things for us. We have ability to do what we can do. And I do believe that you have in your mind and in your heart that you are greatest and you can make things right. Yeah. So we need to invest in Africa and elsewhere, like everybody. So, for example, we have an Ericsson. Ericsson, he was just a single person with a good idea and represent idea to the government, and it was, and he opened the business. And look now, where is Ericsson? He is in China, he is in Africa, he is in America, he is in Latin America, and in Asia. So if we do the same thing for ourselves, I do believe that we will reach much further. Yeah, and we need to strengthen African merchandise. We need to do that, because otherwise we'll be always sitting down pointing, oh, he did that. Hey, from China, from America, or from maybe Sweden. I'm sorry for saying that, but I love Sweden, and I'm here because I feel Swedish too, despite of being in a Pan-African. Yeah. Yeah. So we need to exchange some African expertise. We need, you and I have to sit down sometime talking, oh, we can do this, we build this. What is a good idea for us to reduce the poverty in Africa? Yeah, we need to promote some kind of business proposal, opening some institutes. Yeah, things like that. We need agriculture, we need water machineries, to pumping out water for us to not to be thirsty, but be able, to survive and reach years to come. Yeah. There is one thing that our leaders are doing. They do a very great job. They have this community. We have an African community that we have to be benefit of, and we are very thankful, and I'm very thankful that today I stand here that I know Africans are doing something. So, we need to share and preserve our dignity. That's what our African Union doing. This picture is African leaders with a great ambitions and desire for us to live better. Yeah, quality lives and prosperity are our main goals for Africans to improve business community from all over Africa continent. So include Tanzania. I don't see Tanzania somewhere, but there's someone there. Yeah. I'm sorry for taking a lot of time, but I have to say this because I love to talk. I love to tell things. So I will talk a little bit about African descent. We have already here pictures of Malcolm X, or Martin Luther King, and Mandela, Nelson Mandela. So before I go forth, I have something that I want to tell you. Our African history did not start as slaves. This is very important for you and I to know. We have to go far back, that we had our own civilizations. We could do things. We could live better. We live better. And we should not forget what happened. And we have to try so hard that the colonization, slavery will never ever repeat it again. Slavery, I don't mean that European or the powerful countries invaded, but also slavery is within our own communities. This is a very painful thing that we see Africans enslave the other Africans. That is the most painful, and we need to fight all kind of slavery that's not to exist. Yeah. Now that was the darkness and the tragedy in human self-interest that need to be tackled and understood. Yeah. It is a time for us now to join hand in hand with our brothers and sisters all over the world, that we have to show respect on one another. Not just pushing away. We are human, and we need to be together in order to feel the togetherness. Now, I will briefly discuss, not so much, just I think everybody knows Malcolm X. No, I'm sorry, Elena Johnson. That there's a changes that have been happening through this democratic thing that we desire to have. Today, our mother, sisters, and could be our wives are able to be head of state. And we see the lady here with the strength and ability to change Liberia and the general, in Africa in general, because we have a unity and a prosperity on her necks. And she commented there. We are committed as a people to build a Liberia from the ashes of an old, turbulent and a tragic past to a future of hope and promise. That's not only Liberia, it would be Africa in general and elsewhere where African descendants are existed. We have a Malcolm X, and I think everybody knows about him during the 60s. He and others did a very great job to unify people and make some changes that we are today here see. That's vividly we see in our own eyes. Malcolm X. I'll tell something about this person as well. I had a great admiration of him. But today I have a glasses that look like a Malcolm X. But when I was young, back in Zanzibar, I was dealing with the tourists, and whatever I say, I'm a Malcolm X. I used to buy glasses without lens, so I'm a Malcolm X. But today I have a glasses, and I think like him, because we see the good example. He loved books, and I love too. Yeah, so my alma mater was books, the same as to me. A good library, and I created a very huge library back home. I started to collect the books since I came in Sweden. I came 1995, and I'll have a lot of books. Now is the time to speak. I just give, and I've become very educated. I don't say that I'm well educated, but I tried it. And at least I come to the point where I can stand myself and feel good. Without education, you don't feel good. I could spend the rest of my life reading, and I've already made a contract in myself that I'll be reading till I die. I'll always be a student, but I'll be working too. Yeah, so just to satisfy my curiosity. Yeah, by any means necessary. Yeah, there is one thing here, he wrote. I think the future goes to those who prepare. If you prepare yourself, you have a bright future. And if we prepare for African to raise up, but not in a hostility way, but to share what the world have offered. And we have to offer to the world, not just material, but we need to offer product, education, and so forth. I go to the brother Martin Luther King. I still have a dream. I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I don't say that because he's an African, but I have a great admiration in him. Yeah, we must learn to live together as a brothers, or we will perish together as a fools. He made some good comments. He had a lot of recordings, speeches that he made. Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance. If you just sincere, you love to be ignorant, then that is a dangerous, because you go and fool your brothers. And also there is one thing that he said, and conscious stupidity, that you know I'm a stupid, but why don't you change? You have to change it to make a better life for you and I. We must use time creatively. Shall I go forward? Can I ask you something? Are you bored?
No,
Are you sure? Oh, that I love it. Yeah, so then we have a Marcos Gabay. And this person, I do remember back home in Zanzibar, I used to, to say, I'm a Rastafari. I'm sorry for talking about this thing. Yeah. We had a community whereby, until now, we have some people there are thinking of Marcos Gabay. And I come across to a person talking about him. He gave a book. Take and read it. I took and read it. So those words which I read in the book kept me to be here today with exactly words he spoke being written, that the people without knowledge of the past is like a tree without roots. And the only protection against injustice in a man is a power. The power based in different things. Economical, we need to have a strength in the economy. Physical, that we need to be physical fit, trained, you feel good when you train, And financial, that physical, financially, and scientific. These scientific things, including the knowledge in technology and other things. If you can make things by yourself today, I do believe that nobody will be able to come and put fingers on it. And we see what China is doing now. We know that China was technical advance for quite in centuries ago, but his history was somehow wiped. And look now, he just concentrates in improving. And look, China today, everywhere we have a Chinese product. But why African products are not existent? We have to try to do it, and the time is now. There's no time to waste, no time to lose. We have Marcos Gabay. So our success education, industrial and political, is based upon the protection of nation founded by ourselves, and the nation to be nowhere else but in Africa. And we come to Nelson Mandela. He has experienced a tragic history in his life and was in prison for some time. And I've been watching a movie for maybe a month. I come in the middle of the movie, and there was a gentleman and lady in the car, in the movie. I forget the name because I was in the middle. I came in the middle, and they said, if you want to be a good leader, just go to South Africa. You'll be in prison when you come out, you're president. And what happened to our greatest man, Mandela? Now he's a champion. He have a golden, World Cup, and good smile and feeling good. Yeah, so he commented, he made some speeches that we must use our time wisely and forever realize that the time is always right to do things right. So we need to do things right now. We need to amend what is, we need to make some adjustments what had been lost, what had been crippled, what had been destroyed. It's a time now. No country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. And we need people with a great education. Look, a good example here in Sweden. We have a very living example. Sweden, in it was 80s, many people, living in the countryside. There are very few educated. But look now. I do believe the Swedes have reached 100% educated, except those who are unborn. Yeah, but I do believe when they come, they will be educated too. And you and I become educated because we live in Sweden, and Swedes are giving us a great knowledge, and we have to be very thankful for that. We gave our late former President Julius Nyerere. He tried it a lot, and he was one of Pan-African, created with others, African Union, Organization of African Union. And he had said something that you and I had to hear today, and know that if really development is to take a place, the people have to be involved. The people involvement will include learning. We have a carpenter, we have agriculture, we have so many industries that need to be involved. And all those things involve the people. And you and I are the people. Uhuru no Moja, freedom and unity. So if we don't have a freedom, free mind, free movement, and unity that solidify us and unify us as a people, then we are in danger of disappearance. We are no longer human if we don't have those kind of things. So we need really a freedom and unification that to survive for those centuries to come. We have a coming crew, a greatest person. Freedom is not something that is bestowed. One people can bestow it on another. It's a gift, because freedom is your. You are born free, and we are free now. Yeah, they claim it is their own. Who? The colonizer. And none can keep it from them. We face neither east nor west. We go forward. We face forward. So I think this comment here, the last one, we don't have just to base on one part. Because one part, I'll give one example. When colonization took place and there was a struggle of independence, so we had to go east. They contribute with the weapons and so forth. So we're still keeping on fighting. Why? Because we could not defend ourselves. And it is a time for you and I to be able to stand together and defend ourselves. I don't mean critical war or something, not just to defend our rights by using pain. And our mind will work out. And I do believe that we'll be free from any kind of prejudice and malicious and human self-interest from anybody in the world. We have a Haile Selassie, and according to the history as imperial in perspective, in a Rastafari perspective. I don't talk about philosophy or any religion. I talk about this great man sacrificed his life for an African identity, and we see today that we have African Union offices. I mean, the main office in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, and that is very wonderful because we count Ethiopia was not colonized, free-minded people. Yeah. So he said that until the philosophy which holds our brothers, one race superior and another inferior, is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, and until all Africans will speak as a free beings or human being, equal in the eyes of all men, either in the eyes of heaven. I go forward here. Is there anybody feeling like to drink something maybe? Or maybe you're tired listening to me? Can I go forward? Are you sure?
5 more minutes and then we take a break.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So we have an Gamal, I'm sorry, right? I wrote the wrong name there, Gamal Abdel. He's actually Pan-Arab nationality, but he's an African with an African perspective. You, is an Arab, but an African. I will show you his picture, and Gamal Abdel Nasser, very gentle, with a good smile, and he made some comments. He said, what has been taken by force will be returned by force. He was right, actually. And this is very unique to see that now Egypt have a full independence and are able to take care of themselves. And he come to say that he who is not supporting himself and cannot make his own decision. Look, I don't criticize what we had today in Tanzania, for example. I don't mean very harsh or we are Tanzanian, we have a lot of minerals, we have a lot of raw materials, but we still depending on China. I don't mean China bad, or Europe. I don't mean a European bad, or Americans. But why don't we manufacture a product and sell to them? And they can make anything else. But we let those people come in and make things for us. We pay, they say they pay us, but we then pay them much more for what they made. From what? Wonderful things is fire. Just burn something and modify, design it, and sell to us as in a high price. Why cannot we make it ourselves? And maybe we can sell some material, but in a good business, you know, a fair trade. As Kitimba one day said, fair trade in coffee, but I see fair trade in minerals. Yeah. We go. Now we have a Muhammad Gaddafi. I don't want to say so much about him. He spent a lot of time building a strong nation with a small, tiny country. Very little people. I think it's about some 6 million. I don't know how many there are. Sweden are much more, is more populated than Libya. And he tried it. I don't see any evilness he did. Maybe I can comment that maybe people are very tired on him because he's staying so much in power. That's the only mistake he made. And we Africans could not defend him. That's very silly and very sad. Yeah, he said that himself he's a Bedouin warrior who brought the glory to Libya and will die martyr. And nations whose nationalism is destroyed are subject to ruin. And we see now Libya is ruined. It's tragic. But we cannot do anything because we cannot defend. And he became defenseless. And he contributed a lot in Africa to build African today. And we have a Louis Farrakhan. There's a lot of things, there are a lot of words, things being talking about this man. But he tries to unify people of all kinds. He made some comment. Overall, the challenges of the leadership is both moral and one of the developing characteristics that makes us respected by one another. We have to respect one another in many different ways. We have women that we need to show care, to love them, because that's part of creation. The God has created men and women to live together and be unified. So there's other thing that to be respected, as you and I, that we need to be able to communicate in a way that we will understand. We will share mutual understanding. We live together, and not what's happening now. And in Tanzania, that in the place where I live now, in Zanzibar, I feel sorry about what is happening. If you know anything about it, we're starting to kill. This is very tragic. I'm sorry for Christian brothers. We had burnt churches. It's not me that burnt, and I feel sorry for what is happening. But I studied the cases like in Nigeria, and this is a very bad trend. And we want to separate from the mainland while we are all Africans. Despite of our mixture with Arabs from Oman, but we are all brothers, and this is very sad. I'm sorry for talking about that, if you know about, because this is a sense in my feeling for what brother Louis Farrakhan been talking here. And you must recognize the way to get a good out of your brother and your sister is not to return evil for evil. Here we have Barack Obama. Many people might say bad about him or good about him, but I truly love him. Despite, yeah, I say he's from Kenya, and my neighbor. Tanzania and Kenya are not very far. We have a greatest leader, and I do believe that he will continue to be a leader in America today, in the world, to show a good example as an African descendant standing in for the big nations and do the right, changing the view on us, people. We are as a people, we can do our thing. We can make things right and be respected as a Barack Obama. And the change will not come if we wait for someone else or some other person or some other time. We don't have to wait because the time is now and the time is right to do things right. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We've been waiting quite a long time. You know, when the colonization had been, when decolonization took place, we just waited. Someone will come to do good for us. We just been waiting. But this is the right time to move on. You know, we need to go back to our ancient history that we could build pyramids. I show you, and this is the time to do it. We move on and show our leadership is great in the world. We don't have to confront, to make any confrontation. We need to live peacefully and love, to share that we are human, we contribute this, and we be identified and be respected for getting to what we contribute. Not just only going in the street, drinking, using the drugs, and say, yeah, I'm a good person. Do you think that even my son will not respect you? Yeah, we have to stop that kind of thing. Or good in dancing. Why don't you do good in the school? Be the first person, with a good marks. Go out and take your diploma. And this is the time now. And we are the change that we seek. He become a president. He could not reach there if he acted like, hip hop or what they call. I don't criticize Snoopy Doggy, but now he's connected with me, so I don't know in the Facebook. And I truly admire this person. This is the second time I've been celebrating his birthday here in Sweden, and I don't know how he come to know me. I don't say that he knows me now, but yeah, but I've been celebrating his birthday. And then in 1 week to come, I got an invitation to celebrate, to join with the other Americans, but I'm not American, I'm Tanzania, Pan-African. In Flusen, there is a Hilton Hotel, Iken, that I could go there, celebrate. If he win, I will just, Obama won. I'm sorry for being a little bit funny, but I hope he will continue to be a president. Yeah. And Kitimwa Sabuni. Where is he? Oh, he hide. Yeah, this is a great man, the greatest man. And I have great admiration for this man. There is one thing I want to tell you, this is the truth. I have a son, we say it's a stepson, he's not living with me. He used to come to visit, and we talk a little bit, and we talk about social things, and he started to show me in his computer. Check. Kitimba Sabuni was, during that time was, young, like doing some seminar somewhere talking about, I do believe it was Tebori or somewhere, I don't remember the and it was Kitimba Sabuni. The next time I got an invitation with a guy, my friend Godfred, I come here and I saw Kitimba Sabuni here. I said, wow, this person, this is a wonderful thing. I think we need really to applaud him for his works of, unification. He intended to unify us all African brothers and sisters all over the world. And he is going to do great task, and he's doing now a great task. Without our help, I do believe that he's not going to stand together. So I decided, because I know he loves books, I don't know which kind of books that he loves, but I decided just to bring a huge book for him. So please, Kitimba Sabuni, you are welcome to take it. Yeah. Science and technology in Africa. We should focus on higher education, prioritize in science and technology, and use them in practical. We need to be practical, not just talking, because we talk so much but doing very little. And this habit we have to abolish and finish, that we are no longer talkative people. We have to industrialize ourselves, both in telecommunication, metromechanic, electronics, mechanics, physics, biology, biophysics, sociology, because we are in a social. We need to learn how people behave. We need to change people's minds, because if we have a brother, this is a very sad thing that I want to talk. I'm sorry, I don't like to talk about myself, but I have to talk about it. I was born in 1972 when Kwame Nkrumah was assassinated, and my also president was assassinated. That not Nyerere. In Zanzibar that time, we had much more independence and is autonomy. And after 1973, my father died, and been raised in another family. So it took some time. I grew up in environment that to be more independent as a street boy, and I've been moving in South Africa, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Uganda. I've been passing across when I was 18, now 17, 18, until training. I went back to Tanzania, and what I've learned through those painful experiences, I've seen that this is time to change. And 2 years later, I got a trip to come to Europe, and I'm here now today. So I do believe that we need to find some sociology study. We have to learn the sociology studies to teach the treatment of our brothers and sisters back there, because I've experienced difficulties that we Africans are treating one another very badly.
Can we just round up 2 minutes or something so we can take a break and then continue?
It's all about to finish. I think we have to take a break. We take a break.
Just 2 minutes more.
Okay.
Then you stretch around up.
No, what you should do, bro, is you should really round it up.
This way, round it up and then we take it.
So I'm sorry. Science. We put this in IT. We learn things right, efficient in school, productive, skilled. We need to be very well skilled, and human rights and justice. We have to respect one another. Protect humanity, equal rights to all, without regard to race and genders, avoid conflicts and atrocity, diminish all kind of dehumanization against ourselves. We should learn to live together, to love as an Africans, no matter north, west, south. This is a conclusion. Actually, just to emphasize this thing that we need a great knowledge, we need to engage in, developing ourselves, educate, respect humanity, and a free and independent as a free independent human. Increase awareness. Oi, what did he say? What happened here? I say no. Okay. Increase awareness and avoid and try to create a vital innovation because we have a good history, so we need to keep it on to make things right. Yeah. Recognize the importance of unity to assimilate ourselves with our ancestors. That we need to create. We need to be in a good network, because the network is very important, and you need to choose the people, the friends that we can deal with, in order to maintain our good recognition. And the last is the question.